And we are back. Third time's the charm, back in Muswell Hill at another property flip. Last time we were here, it wasn't finished, but hopefully that's all changed now.
Hey Kazy, you are?
How you doing? You're right.
Good.
Today? So, tell me, are we finished?
We're finished.
Congrats,
There's
man.
one thing left.
I've been waiting. Show me around, show me around.
Come through. There's actually one thing left that still needs to be done.
There's the one thing. It still needs to be done.
We need to get rid of this.
Oh man, we appreciate Tej being here as a special guest. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, good to see you. So, if you haven't already, make sure you watch part 1 and the additional part 2 before you get to part 3 to see how we got from there to here.
Yeah, it's been a long slog, but we got there.
But talk us around, because this looks impeccable. I want to understand the design, and I want to understand also what you had to do.
So I wanted to marry the traditional with the modern, and so what you see in this flat, because we've got the wooden sash windows and then the high ceilings, and with the traditional coving and really high skirting, which was originally in the flat when I bought it. So I wanted to bring all of those elements back in, but also make it modern with modern light features and matte brushed black plug points. So there's like continuity throughout the flat. And I've got underfloor heating throughout, so there's no radiators. There's 4 zones in the flat, and yeah, just modernized it but made it look fresh and clean, but still keeping the traditional elements.
You've been brave when it's come to design. You've really given it your touch, but I think for a lot of aspiring developers, there is a lot of competition, and I think it is important to put your own touch, and you've done that, and I think it works for the area and potentially for the type of buyer.
Yeah, so these features were actually, there's a chimney breast behind here, which is the length of this. And so I wanted to hide the chimney breast because I absolutely hate them. Fireplace is going. So actually, because this was like the chimney breast, there's no actual fireplace here, it's just closed. I know we've got the material takes the builders bring them in, but my idea of the layout is to have like the sofa here and the TV on that wall, because that's a smaller wall. And without taking it and doing party wall awards and spending extra money and getting rid of them, the best thing to do was just board it up and just to create alcoves. So that's why the alcoves are created either side. And then I've had architraves put around the alcoves as well as the window frames.
And I think what you said earlier about marrying like the old with the new, the traditional with the more modern and minimalist, you can see it, you know, in the kitchen with the quartz worktops. I believe that's the Calcutta gold.
Yeah.
I think these are, am I right in saying you've got the Knightsbridge?
Yes, they are.
Sockets.
They are the Knightsbridge matte brush glass.
Fittings, fixtures as well with the coving lights works really well, and it comes, you know, really well together collectively.
The bathroom is Calcutta gold tiles on the wall and then matte ones on the floor. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to put it continuity of the Calcutta gold tiles, but actually when they were on the walls, they just looked really nice. So I just did it all over because I was gonna have a different tile structure in here. So I put a bath, there's a shower niche in this corner with like a little detailing of mosaic tiles there. It's a 3-piece bath, something really funky, which was an accident. That wasn't intentionally meant to be anything. I saw a bath panel that had this and I just thought it looked really cool. So I wanted to incorporate some kind of just different features. There's a floating toilet, floating sink. There's no handle, so it's handleless. And then the tap comes out from the wall, as well as having the faceplate for the button for the toilet there. And then we've got click-clack storage that's mirrored. And in here, in this one, the storage also has the shaver with a USB-A and a USB-C.
How do you make sure that agents understand all the love and the hard work and all of the extra details that you've put in? Do you send them a cheat sheet? Do you sit down with them? What do you do to make sure that they really upsell your property?
That's a really good question. So when the agents came around, so I had 6 agents that came over. The one that won the business were the ones that did off-market viewings before I even signed a contract. And so when they'd come over, it was when the carpets were being fitted, and instantly they could see it. But they also do a landlord or a seller visit. They call it like one of these things. And so they come with their entire sales team and they go around, and there was one person that wasn't there. when I brought them round, there was 4 of them, and the 5th guy was on holiday, and that 5th guy was the one that emailed me asking me questions. And when I picked up the phone, I was like, you should know this because your colleague should have told you the answers to these questions, and if you were with me, we would have gone through it. So I make sure I point out stuff, and I did say, look, I'm pointing these out because I want you to say them during the viewings. You know, these are things I'm pointing out to you, so try to say them.
Yeah, it's also obviously, if you know you spent money to try, obviously at the end of the day we're in like a business, so for every pound you spend, you know, we're hoping to make a return on that investment.
Yes.
And if people aren't aware of it, then I say that in any business you've got to shout your wins and what you do and what you do well from the rooftop. So question for you in this space.
Yes.
2 things I think people often consider. It's whether or not to go carpet or hard floors in bedrooms. Yeah. And also whether or not to leave the space open or to go integrated and built-in wardrobes.
Yeah.
You've gone for the carpets, you've gone for the built-in wardrobes. What made you make those sort of aesthetic decisions?
So the carpet in the bedrooms was a really easy choice. I had to. It was in the license of alteration, and I was obligated to do that from the freeholder. But I think originally I would have preferred to have the underfloor, the herringbone flooring throughout. However, I quite like it. It's quite soft under the feet when you come into the bedroom, and it differentiates the space from the other parts of the house. In terms of the fitted wardrobes, now it's really easy when I open up this wardrobe why I integrated in. I had to hide this ugly boiler because it's on the wall of the bedroom, and I just needed it to be unsightly. And so these are now a feature because this ceiling height is about 3.3 meters, and putting floor to ceiling wardrobes just means it's got that wow factor. And so when you look up, it's your neck is being bent all the way. So it's really, really tall and really high wardrobes. The other thing is behind the top wardrobe, I've got the extractor that runs along for the bathroom and the kitchen. So the extraction is in there.
So this was, when you purchased it, was a 1-bed. And if you go back to the previous videos and have a look at these floor plans, you'll be able to see where the bathroom was located and where you were able to take your 2nd bedroom from. Is there a reason why you staged the property in general and this 2nd room?
Yeah, so originally we're in what was the kitchen. So the ceiling height in this room is completely different to the rest of the house. It's not the 3.3 meters that we have. And when I was in this room, I knew that this was going to be my problematic room, for example. All the other rooms are wow, they've got massive features. And so in this room, it's a bit smaller, it's got lower ceilings, and it just feels really closed. So I knew I had to dress this room.
So putting a bed in there, putting a desk, also you benefit from a built-in wardrobe, walk-in closet.
There's a walk-in closet with a here where we've taken up the space from the hallway, and then it's got a sensor as well, so the sensor turns on.
So whilst I like a lot of the spaces in the property, I really like the bathroom. I like the amount of natural light in the master bedroom. I do still think the open plan kitchen living room is my favourite space. I like the way the kitchen's set back, so you just feel like you are in a conventional living room.
Yeah.
But you still have the fluidity of that open plan living. And then the ceiling heights along with the massive bay windows, I think it's just a massive selling point for any potential incoming buyer. What about you? Not necessarily what's your favourite room, but what's your favourite thing about this project?
Oh gosh, I can just think of nightmares. I think something different that I did that I haven't really seen in a lot of projects, and something new that I tested out was the LED coving lighting. So that's been one of my key things in this property. So I think lighting and windows can really make a property. You can do really cool features with them. And so doing coving lighting, especially in here in the living room, I've got the traditional coving, which is the Victorian swan neck style, and then I've got the cheaper screw fix, £5 Lydian meter coving, but it just gives that warmth to this room. I put them in the bedrooms as well, but I just love the LED coving lighting. I think that's one of the best features in this flat.
So looks amazing, but obviously we are in the business of not just refurbishments, but also making money.
Yes.
So do you remember what you said last time when we spoke about the numbers?
Why don't we have a little reminder?
So let's talk numbers. How much did you buy this property for?
331,000.
And your stamp duty?
16,500.
And what about your build cost?
Build cost is going to be in the region of 75,000.
Okay, and then your associated purchase costs?
Yeah, so that was 3,500, and then I've got refurb fees on top of that, so party wall award, license of alteration, structural calculations and architect fees, it's probably taken it about to like 10, 12,000.
Okay. Then where does that take your grand total?
So about 430 to 435.
And what do you think your estimated GDV is going to be?
Yeah, so I had it estimated at 550, but I think now I'd realistically be between 520 and 550.
Okay, so still potentially, if we sort of take a middle value, still potentially looking at that 6-figure profit.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Toes crossed. Toes crossed. This
Wiggly
toes crossed.
hips,
This how we
everything.
do. Oh, this how we do. Wiggly hits and toes
Wiggly hips
crossed.
and toes.
That was what you planned. Well, obviously, plans, what actually happens can be different. So obviously your purchase price, stamp duty, etc. would have remained the same. But how much was your build cost in the end?
So it's 77,500, which is my build cost, my holding costs, and my interest.
And I know the property is now on the market.
Yes.
How much are you hoping to sell for?
So hoping to hit the 500,000 mark, and yeah, that would give me a profit of 65,000.
And I know it took a little bit longer than you wanted,
Yeah.
but it's because you have, as opposed to like a 100-meter sprint, you have maybe done a 400-meter hurdle in terms of time and also having to overcome obstacles.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest hurdle you overcome and sort of lesson learned on this project?
I think was the thing that I found the most challenging was having competent contractors that I could rely on, that I felt comfortable with. So the first builder just started charging extortionate prices. The second guy was just, the head guy was good, but his underlings were just incompetent. Then I got my HMO builder from the Midlands to come over, and he ghosted me, he went missing. And that's when I just did it by trade. And actually, in like now with hindsight, the blessing of that is when you hire somebody that only does kitchens, the finishing has been so perfect on this. You know, hiring people that just do laminate flooring, just do painting, decorating for 15 years, the finishing has been really, really good.
Amazing. Well, I appreciate you inviting us down, letting everybody see what you've been up to. I think just to echo what you said, you know, despite the fact that it didn't go to plan and there were changes in your control, out of your control, market forces, things that maybe went wrong, time frame. One of the most, inherent things to say is that you often make your money when you buy. So from buying at the right price at the beginning,
Yeah.
can help insulate you against any problems that come up along the course of your development. We appreciate you joining us today. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and comment what else you want to see. And we'll be back real soon with another amazing development tour.
See you on the next project.